Hello everyone and welcome back to another ramble session with me, your girl Ash. Today I want to talk about something a little different, something I don't normally tackle. Today we're talking about the use of schools in Japanese media, more specifically manga and anime. If there's one thing anime and manga love to stick by, it's school rules. There's a lot of plots and characters that live their entire screen and page life revolving around them. It's convenient, easy, and a perfect base form to bounce off. We all go through school life at some point. It's a crucial part of young life, often the last step before adulthood. Now yeah, that sounds weird when you gratitude it. Mostly it's just a setting, right? A convenient and easy way to set up your characters in a scenario within a decent time span. Think about it, there's so many manga and anime that are set in schools, experiencing the same events over and over, the same classes, everything. The only difference being is if it takes place in a fantasy world or a regular Japanese prefecture. Now that elegant talk in the beginning is out of the way, let's talk about furries. That's right, today we're diving into the world of Beastars. The recap. So if your first question is, what's Beastars? Or, hey, I've heard of that furry anime/manga, what is it about? Then don't worry, I'll give an overview of it to get everyone up to speed. Beastars follows the story of several high school students through their struggles. Legoshi is the main character, a grey wolf, with Louis the red deer and Haru the dwarf rabbit equally important characters. Most of what happens in this universe we follow revolves around these three. There's a fantastic supporting cast too, like Jack the Labrador, Gohin the Panda Daddy, and some of the later characters I won't reveal just yet. In case you're interested in the series and want to go give it a read/watch, I highly recommend checking it out yourself first. Now, I will be talking a lot about events that take place later in the manga that have yet to be revealed in the anime at this current point in time, which is Season 1. As such, spoilers ahead for those who are only watching the anime and who haven't read the manga yet. Go read it and then come back, because seriously, Beastars is a work of art and a fantastic story. Please go check it out. Part 1. The Murderer of Tem. The main thread weaving around the characters in Beastars is the death of a classmate, Tem the alpaca. It happens in the very first moment of the series and spurs the characters on in a later arc where Legoshi has to find Tem's murderer. From the beginning, this seems like it'll be the main focus arc. It's set up, motive is given to the protagonist, and the mystery of the murder hangs thick in the air around everyone. But Beastars does something weird and new. It doesn't launch into its main story point straight away, or lead us into it organically. Instead, it just carries on with a school production, a normal, everyday high school performance. Louis and Legoshi are part of the drama club, the main focus club of the story, and they were in the middle of rehearsing for a big production when the murder happened. They deal with replacing Tem's role and everything that comes with that. The Adler production marks the first arc, a small one built to introduce the characters, build relationships, and show Legoshi and Louis' budding friendship. Move forward to several parts later and you get to Tem's murder mystery. This marks the turning point for the characters' lives. So much happens in this arc to all of them, but it especially spurs on Legoshi. Let's try to unpack what happens here. The murderer is caught, Louis loses a leg, Legoshi eats meat for the first time, and Legoshi has a predation strike against him. All of these things are related and form a chain of events, of course. Legoshi is losing to Riz and he doesn't have the strength to beat him. Louis offers his cursed leg in response to eat it to regain power and match Riz's level. What fascinates me the most in this is how it impacts the school aspect of the setting. In most anime and manga, you follow the characters through their 3 years of middle school or 3 years of high school, and that's usually it. Most stories end when the characters move on to whatever waits after school, and the series ends. But Beastars goes a step further. Louis and Haru are in their final year, they're about to graduate, they're leaving school. But Haru isn't done. These characters aren't done. There's more. Haru and Louis go to university, but Legoshi drops out of school. He actually drops out. This feels like a diamond in the rough of school-time anime/manga. It's so rare to see giving a character such a harsh punishment, even when we know what they did was justified at the time. Of course, because of Louis' high standing and explaining it to the police, Legoshi gets a significantly smaller sentence than you'd expect, but he is still branded a predation animal for the rest of his life, with the record forever slashed against his name, and that's a big deal. So let's get into it. Part 2. After School Life. So just in case anyone kept watching this video interested but not knowing much about Beastars, I'll do my best to remember to explain the important parts of the story. What Legoshi ends up with, the predation record, is a form of criminal record similar to a sex offender charge. It goes in your legal documentation so potential employees can access it to check your previous offences. So we see this in Beastars when Lugosi gets his cafe job, but also in the apartment he lives in, which holds a Predation Animals Welcome sign, proving that some places refuse to house animals with records. Beastars does a wonderful job of setting up its main conflict through predation, the coexistence of herbivores and carnivores, and the implications living together in a society causes. Whether or not they can coexist in peace is the question Beastars explores. But more than this, it shows perspectives outside of a high school life. It's not just simple school crushes, it moves past this into more untapped potential. The potential of adult life, life after school, life in the city, and life on your own. All of the characters experience finding their own path through different means. The progression of the characters through their story beats and branching paths feels so smooth and flawless, like their motions were paved out in front of them with such perfection, and yet they are just as full of mistakes and missteps as they advance forward. It's not just Lugosi who stumbles through this life, but everyone else. You see the viewpoints and lives of a lot of characters around him. The people who live around him in the apartment complex all have their own lives. Speaking of, let's move on to Part 3, Relationships. Beastars covers a plethora of interactions and relationships between characters. From the mains to the supporting cast, everybody gets a moment to be themselves. It's important not just to show the character growth, but the way it affects the world around them, which then feeds back into how the main characters make their decisions. For Lugosi, he goes through the motions of school life, but then swerves off to form new relationships with adults both in his work and his apartment complex. They provide not only important experiences and insight for young Lugosi, but a bouncing point for him to grow off where he couldn't grow anymore at school. Without Zaguan, and I probably said his name wrong, sorry, Lugosi wouldn't have developed his understanding on sea folk, which directly led to his survival later on. And his friend Sebun, the little merino sheep, who has a direct chapter dedicated to showing how the adult workforce herbivores and carnivores relationships work. While his relationship with Haru and Louis continues to grow and evolve, the limitations of school life are stripped away, giving him the chance to grow in new ways. It's briefly worth mentioning how much development the Shishigumi get to go through as well, and how much time and attention is given to them not only during Louis' crime boss arc, but afterwards with Melon's. And it's here you can start to see the intersecting worlds of adult life. While Haru is off at university, she meets Melon. In one of the latest chapters, Haru and Louis both manage to find themselves at a herbivore event at the same time, having time to catch up on life. Louis still has a bond with the Shishigumi, and since Melon is the current boss of the Shishigumi, you see the lion's relationship with the hybrid as well. It feels like no matter which character you're looking at, they're linked to at least someone else. It's like how you find out someone you know actually knows another person you know from somewhere else in real life. It's as the saying goes, small world. There are countless fascinations to behold in Beastars, far too many to list in just one video alone. The nuances of the society and each individual living in it are so complex and marvelous, and the story hasn't even reached its end yet. We just have no idea where Paru would take it next, but I for one can't wait to see. Honestly, if you're looking for more Beastars analysis to soak up, of which you haven't seen already, I'd recommend these few videos that each tackle interesting points and parts of the series. Links in the description below, go check them out. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. This is Ash, signing out.